Match. 4, 3, 2, 1. What up, there? Welcome to Pancal Sports. I'm Easy from Woodward Heavyweights. This is Ryan Lynch from Woodward Sports, and Keenan from Frederick V. Pancal Center. Kind of winging it here. Thank you. Shout out to Mr. Kaufman, by the way, for teaching Ryan and myself the skill sets that got us here and where we're going, and many others, by the way, too. There's other people at our network that we kind of mentioned on before here. But Keenan, did you have any questions or?
No, I'm just glad to be here. You know, I'm a little nervous, but it's whatever.
It's all right to be nervous, man.
Yeah.
It's they call it cortisol. It's what makes you like do crazy things.
Yeah.
You ever hear people say like you're back against the wall and they just do something crazy?
Yeah.
It's your stress levels
Never
like
heard that.
heightening you up. Maybe I watched too much Joe Rogan now. I don't know. Maybe that's where I learned it from. But yeah, here's where I started, Frederick V. Pancal Center. Yeah. We actually had a video of Mr. Kaufman one time, like walked to our shop while we were doing one of our live shows. Same thing I said with clips, and like kind of like blows up. It was like him, like he like tripped almost, and we made like a dance in our classroom. We call it like the whirlwind.
Yeah.
And I kind of took on his life as his own. That's Alexander Jacobson too. I don't know if you guys, if you've ever talked about him, but he's another person who was in our class with us, who did really well. Ryan, before you were with Woodward Sports, were you just like freelance filming?
Not really. So I originally started on Photoshop. When I was like 13 or 14, I ran this Instagram account where I would do like sports edits and different Photoshop designs of sports players. I got a couple of thousand followers. Eventually, after that, when I came into high school, I wanted to stay like somewhat in the same field. And I saw this class on the, you guys know that little form you fill out every year. Right. I was like, oh, that sounds sweet.
Yeah.
And then I had this class for 3 years. I basically learned probably like 90% of my film like fundamentals from this class. Going to college, I went to junior college so I could play baseball too. But going to college, like a lot of it was like beginner entry level stuff. Like no shame on them, but like I feel like most of the stuff I learned was from this class. And then the video stuff, I didn't really start doing video till here. And then after college, when I first started with Woodward, doing that football stuff, like the high school football games I was talking about earlier, that was kind of like my first real getting thrown in there. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. I never filmed a football game before. I just got put on the sideline. I just got my new camera. I had a small lens. Like I upgraded over time, but like filming sports is something I love doing, and I can very see that now. That's why Woodward Sports has been so great. It's like because I played baseball growing up, I played in college. I did this class, broadcasting, I went to college for it, and then I kind of just meshed them both together. And now I get to film Jameson Williams and Jared Goff and all those Lions players, and I got to go down to the Red Wings game with Darren McCarty, and I got to go in the suites and film him and meet a lot of cool people. So it's been really cool. Like I said earlier, I met Jim Harbaugh. I got to eat lunch with him. I met the entire Pistons roster from last year at Topgolf. I had to film a promo for him. It was actually pretty fun. It was for Jeremy Grant. He did some charity event at Topgolf. I had to film like a 2-minute recap video for it. So yeah, I met a lot of cool people. It's cool staying in the sports world and also being able to film and do what I like doing.
I guess like one thing I said too, like, remember I told you guys about marketing.
Right.
Excuse me. Like when you have these opportunities to meet those people, I think that's like, don't like obviously be like cringy about it, but make sure they know who you are within the conversations and kind of keep it casual. But I got to interview Kate Cunningham, and instead of like asking, again, a way of networking, just building a relationship. Like instead of like asking like a sports question, because I know he records music, so I asked him if him and like Marvin Bagley are like dropping any tracks soon, or whatever. He like laughed or whatever. I kind of like picked on him about being like a Cowboys fan. Like,
treat him like
exactly, because like in his world, like every day he's gonna come across somebody talking to him about basketball. Because it's like every day, but like he's always gonna remember the guy who like talk crap to him about his favorite football team or ask him about his music. So you're building rapport with those people, and networking. Another thing too is like just everyone you meet, they're pursuing the same industry, and you never know like where that person's gonna go. Like like I said, I started in quarantine. There's so many people that I met through like networking in quarantine and going on each other's like podcasts, stuff like that are like now in the UFC or now doing like full-time reporting for the NBA. I think that's important too, is like never burn bridges, and always I guess like build the other person up, because like you'll never know when it's like their turn to return that favor for you. What do you watch sports?
A little bit. I watch a lot of basketball, but I just started getting into football like last year, so yeah.
How you feel about the Pistons now?
The Pistons suck this year. They're doing horrible. It's bad. It's bad. They're messing up bad, bro. It's horrible. I can't even watch their games. Like, that's my hometown. I can't even watch my hometown's games.
Nah, listen, I got to do it for work. How do you want to do it?
Right.
It's like a lifelong dream, right? To watch sports like for your job, but it's rough, man. Pistons are rough.
You don't want to go on your Pistons rant?
I'm trying not to swear today, Ryan. So no, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know, man. If I did want to go to Pistons rant, I think last night I did watch a little bit of a film breakdown, and I liked their head coach Monty Williams because he was in Phoenix and he helped Devin Booker finally win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Devin Booker was in Phoenix for forever.
Right.
It was Monty Williams that helped him start actually winning. So I thought Monty coming here would be that same example for Cade or maybe even Ivy, but no, bro, it's all bad.
It's horrible.
I think another thing too is I'm a little bit older than you guys, but I got to watch the 04 Pistons.
Right.
Ben Wallace, undrafted, Hall of Famer just from straight playing defense.
Right.
And it's when I see really, really talented guys used to be Andre Drummond, but now Jalen Duren or Isaiah Stewart, and I don't see the same effort. It's really disappointing. Pistons are not the greatest watch, but I'm gonna get tight. Kind of have to.
All right.
What kind of games you play?
What do you mean? I'll be playing, Fortnite, Minecraft, all those games. I play Apex sometimes.
You stream on Twitch or YouTube?
Yeah. Not consistently though. I haven't done it in months, but I do stream. I try to be productive about it, but I always get out the bed and just not do anything. I'm so lazy. I just get on the game and I don't even hit stream. I just play the game.
Come on, bro.
Right. So I don't know. I just feel like I don't got the right stuff to start streaming yet. I want to get a face cam. I only got an Xbox, so I don't got no equipment I can edit on besides my phone.
Yeah.
So I'm only just playing on my Xbox and streaming on Twitch, and I got to get the clips from Twitch and then put them on my phone and then edit them. So that's kind of hard, and I don't got time for that. I'm too lazy to do that right now. But
how do you get it from Twitch to your phone? Is that
I gotta go on Twitch, and sometimes I could save the streams and then I could put them on my phone and edit them, but I haven't done it in so long. It's I don't know.
Gotta do it, man.
I know.
That's the biggest thing. Like I said, in quarantine, I had zero. I had one subscriber. Probably was my best friend that I asked to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It takes that. You gotta get through it. And I think that the biggest thing too, talking about production stuff, audio. I learned that because sometimes we'll have stuff will go down, and if there's no audio, no one's interested. No one's interested at all. That's why I usually talk about the microphones peaking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we had a guest on to talk about the Pistons, but for whatever reason, his microphone was staticky. He sounded like Darth Vader or something like that. And because we were live on YouTube when we do the show, we just watch the numbers drop like crazy. Audio is probably number one in production.
Right.
Without it, there's no value there. You're just watching people standing at a desk.
Right.
Unless you're dancing or whatever. Oh, we have a question. I apologize.
Yeah, where do you guys come up with your ideas for the podcasts and stuff? So what topics you guys talk about?
Yeah, the podcast itself probably just stuff you're generally interested in because that's going to drive you. That's what in your off time, we like sports, right? So in our off time, we're looking at sports articles or sports highlights, and then we may be inspired by something we see there. For me, I think what's giving me different points of view is and one thing too, if you have an intuition about something, and even if it's crazy, it sounds like a crazy take, it may be true. Don't be scared to say it. Even to this day, I find myself holding back on stuff. I'm there's no way. I'll see someone the way they talk in an interview, and I'm yo, that guy's pissed off about something. He's not either happy with the coach or the team or something like that. But then, long behold, a couple weeks later or a couple months later, oh, he's traded. He was unhappy with the team. So it's if you see something like that and you feel it, you have the intuition, speak on it. Let that be a topic. Hey guys, the topic today is Cade Cunningham happy with the Detroit Pistons? We saw him on the sideline, kind of pouting, just hold his head in disappointment, and there's a topic for you. Another thing too is obviously if you're we're doing live and digitally, so I like to go on Twitter and see what's trending in terms of topics and stuff like that, and so we'll start with there. And luckily, or X they call it now. Damn, I'm really getting old. They just changed the name and everything. But they'll have a sports tab or entertainment tab, or you can even type in. You ever heard search engine optimization, SEO? You could type in whatever it is you're interested in. So Detroit Lions the biggest sports team here right now. So type in Detroit Lions, and then whatever articles are popping up through there. You can do it on Google as well. Google, you get like actual like long form articles, but Twitter is like a live reaction thing where you get to see like what people are actually talking about. Somebody like, oh, I just saw Kay Cunningham eating a burger. He's not vegan. Like, no, that's today's topic, you know?
Right.
I mean, that was random, but yeah.
And then like
that.
speaking on that, like when I make my thumbnails every day, like I'll be in contact with Easy and Spencer. But like I pretty much have free reign to do whatever I want. So if like there's anything trending, like yesterday I think I put Jared Goff in a trash bin because like I'm not the biggest Jared Goff fan, so I'll just throw him in a trash can and put him on the thumbnail. Or like you guys know how Jameson Williams ate that like McFlurry with that like double cheeseburger. You guys see that?
That was disgusting. You saw it?
I
You
did.
try it?
I made like 6 different thumbnails just based on him. Like instead of catching a football, he was catching a McFlurry, and like people love it, dude. Like I'll just Photoshop our talents' faces on like random stuff every day,
Yep.
and like the chat eats it up every morning. So
That's the other thing too is like it's a copy like the successful people like in your lane. Like when we first started like going to him to make our thumbnails, I'd show him like a Mr. Beast one, and I'm like, hey, you just put Mr. Beast on our thumbnail today?
Right.
And he's like, why? I was like, well, people just click on Mr. Beast. You know what I'm saying? And, like, and if you're not, like, obviously don't use Mr. Beast. We put him like a Detroit setting, obviously, because it's like around like our niche. But like,
Right.
like if you're the way he's like all in the camera, like making like weird faces, like mimic that.
Like.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, literally
Like
though,
that,
yeah.
like-
You feel crazy. Like I have a video because you can take screenshots from it. Before I was like at Woodward Sports, I was straight like minute of me like holding my phone, just,
Right.
just making
I
like
mean, I
crazy
probably
faces.
have like 300 pictures in my phone of like Easy just like making random faces, so I can use them whenever I want for
Right.
the thumbnails.
But use that. Who's your favorite streamer?
I would say I Show Speed because he's always doing some
Okay.
stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's always funny to watch him. Or like Constantine too. Him too. Those
I like
two are
Kai. Kai's cool.
Yeah, they're my
Oh,
Constantine, yeah.
the guy's not funny as hell. He has Drewski that did that like, little jail thing or prison thing.
Yeah.
He has dying. See, all right, so I would do for you actually. So like I said, like mimic like the successful people in your lane. Bro, go and if they're on YouTube at least. You can go to their videos. You can categorize it by like latest, earliest, like,
Right.
most popular. Go like their earliest videos and like just watch like as they progress, like what they started doing differently, and like mimic that. And I'm telling you, like, it works.
I got you.
That's a great question. I mean, do you look at the YouTube analytics as much? I know I used
Yeah,
to.
for some reason, whenever we post a Dan Miller video, do you guys know who Dan Miller is?
He works for Fox too.
He's the Lions play-by-play guy for the radio. We have him on our show every week, and like every time we post him, it's like a guaranteed like 15 to 30,000 views every day. And I don't know why. I guess the people just love Dan Miller.
He's great.
I don't know. I feel like the stuff that does the best is always what's trending. Like we did a Patrick Kane to the Red Wings video yesterday, and that got like 10,000 views in like 5 hours because people are just because the way we schedule our YouTube videos, we get them out like right after the news happens, like right after the show's over, and we're kind of like the first media company to put our stuff up there. So like if anyone's looking up Patrick Kane to the Red Wings, you're gonna see our video that we just posted. So people tend to click on the more relevant stuff that's going on.
Yeah, it's kind of like ties into like his question about topics, like search engine optimization, like whatever is like relevant, you get it out there. Because like I remember, because in quarantine, I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was Dogecoin was like blowing up.
Right.
And like I was like live already, and I was like, all right, let me just make my video about Dogecoin today. And I like bought some, and I just watched it like rise on air, and it blew up because I was like going crazy because I put like $50 and I'm watching it turn to like 1,500. I'm like going crazy, but like. Yeah, just like the stuff that is gonna pop the most is like what's most relevant, or if you're just doing something crazy. I know like YouTube's algorithm, I think everyone's algorithm now is based on the retention.
Right.
So like the longer someone's like actually watching your video. So like, I think in short-term content, like it's I notice it when people do it. Like you've ever like been like scrolling through like YouTube Shorts or whatever, they might like a half of the screen where it's just like some random like puzzle game going on.
Yeah.
But it's keep your attention because like you're like watching that.
Right.
Or like another thing they do too is it's been like gotten me hooked. I hate it. It pisses me off actually. But like they have like YouTube Shorts with like short like clips from a movie.
Or like a cartoon or something like that. Too.
Yeah, and they'll leave like really like anticlimactic. Like they're just like they won't finish it. So I'm like,
Right.
I'm not gonna go find the rest of this video or like what this movie is, So I think for the videos that pop up, you want stuff that's like SEO relevant. You want to be like the first to it. Because then at that point, if someone's typing in Dogecoin, I'm the first one like making a video about it. Like Google will recommend my video, or Twitter, like I said, will recommend like your stuff too. And retention is big.
If you guys are like trying to post your own videos, like even if you don't think it's your best work, like post it anyway, because that video might still pop. You never know if that video is going to be the one that blows up. I made this like TikTok for us, like back when I first started at Woodward. I was doing like social reels and like an Instagram reel and TikTok. I made this one about an umpire in baseball, Angel Hernandez. I don't know if you guys are baseball fans, but it was one of our talents, Neil, just going on this rant about Angel Hernandez. And it like wasn't good at all, and then it gets like 800,000 views in one day for like no reason. And that's still like one of our highest like viewed videos to this day. And it's like, when I made it, I didn't think nothing of it. So like, if you guys make stuff, just put it out there. If nobody watches it, like, oh well. Like I used to have a YouTube channel. I kind of just like posted for me and my friends, like clips of us, and like I got a decent following just from like,
that.
no,
You
won't find it. I got a decent following for like not even really trying to gain a following. I was just like posting stuff I had fun with. So like some of the stuff did good, and I wasn't. You just don't expect. You never know what's gonna pop off.
Some stuff too, like if you're like a little bit, like I didn't want to put my name out there because I didn't know where this was gonna go. That's why I go by Easy. Like my real name's like Daniel.
Right.
I went by Easy because you could just post anonymously. And I think the one thing cool about the internet that a lot of people don't realize is you may know like your peers or your friends don't look at you as like a big time streamer or like a podcast or whatever. But there's someone on the internet when they discover you, they know you as that.
Right.
So you can't look at like what people around you think of you because they know you like growing up your whole life. They know like your flaws and mistakes. Someone who comes across you on the internet, they only know you as Easy the broadcaster or Keon the streamer. So like, put it out there. And if you don't want to go by your name, make a weird name. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I got you.
What would be your name? What would be your streamer name?
I have no clue.
K Nasty.
Nah. Nah, I don't even know. It'll have something with K in it, but I don't know though. Like you know how Kai's name isn't really Kai. It's like Kyson or something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he shortens it to Kai. I'll probably do something like that, but I don't know what I would be.
I got the keys. There you go.
I got the keys. No, I'm good. Nah.
No, but if really though, if you want to like make a YouTube channel, like whatever name you do come up with, or even if it's one you don't like, just post from there anonymously. Like,
Right.
No one has to know like that's Keenan from Pankow Center.
Right.
You gotta get it out there, and then like from doing that stuff too, like you'll learn what you don't like that you do, or what you do like. I think that's the most important, just doing it. Really.
Right.
You can't make the shot if you don't take the shot. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing.
Who's probably one of the coolest people you guys ever met or interviewed through Woodward?
The coolest person I've met, I'm a Michigan State fan, so meeting Harbaugh wasn't that cool to me. I mean, it was cool because I was sitting across from Jim Harbaugh, but like I was like, whatever. But Darren McCarty at our network and Braylon Edwards, they're both big time name. Braylon Edwards played in the NFL. He was a Pro Bowler. Darren McCarty has 4 Stanley Cups. They're like the most humble celebrities like you'll ever meet. And like I think just like for how cool they are and how willing they are to talk to us every day, and like they're just like our friends now. Like I could just hit them up and text them like as like, oh, what up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that we can do that with them, like I would say they're the coolest. I met AJ Hinch in Austin Meadows outside of our job because we're based in Birmingham. So Kirk Gibson comes into our work sometimes.
A couple of times.
We meet a lot. We meet a lot of cool people.
Mine's probably Kate Cunningham, just because I was a big fan before he was at the Pistons. The Pistons they've been terrible for like a long time, so like I was really hoping to get the number 1 pick to get him, and then I don't know if it's different though too, because like I met him in his rookie year, and like I feel like they're still kind of like humble at that point before they kind of blew up. So I guess I got to like meet him then. So I don't know if he's the same now, but the same thing he said too about like Darren. Like this is like before I was even born. Maybe I was like 3 years old, but Darren McCarty had like the biggest one of the biggest hockey fights all time. They call it the Brawl at the Joe or whatever. What do they call it? Fight Night at the Joe?
Fight Night.
Yeah, where he turtled like Claude Lemieux, and like we went to. What?
I actually got Claude Lemieux like flew into town, and him and D-Mac filmed an interview together, and I got to film that. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
But
Claude Lemieux.
So that was pretty cool. I met Claude Lemieux and D-Mac at the same time.
What? I was gonna say something. I don't remember now. No, you're good. But Darren McCarty's a man. He's a man. Four-time Stanley Cup champion. He's still as humble as anybody. He's willing to help anybody. Right. If you guys ever like randomly hit him up for a podcast, be like, yeah, let's do it. it's there.
Blake Corum's pretty cool. I got to interview him
he's
at
cool
this
too.
charity event like a year and a half ago. He was giving out stuff. He was using his NIL money to like give out money for Christmas gifts to the kids. So
He's
that was
the
pretty
first
cool.
person to do it too, if I'm
Was
not
he?
mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Blake Corum's a really good guy.
Is there any like celebrities or people that you guys meet that like their personalities are just like just like enjoyable?
Yeah.
Kind of like
Flavor
just
Flav.
surprising. Yeah, surprisingly flavorful. You wouldn't expect it out of them.
So there's like this old rapper, and I met him at a Pistons game. It was actually cool. We met. Did Spinny tell you we met Jalen Rose?
Yeah.
So our boss gave us like courtside seats to the Pistons game, and we got to meet a couple of like Lions players like in like the club part where like we eat food or whatever. And we were walking out, there was like, you guys know who Flavor Flav is? He was like even before my time. So Flavor Flav was there and Jalen Rose, and Jalen Rose like watched like the heavyweight clips on like Instagram or whatever. So they're pretty cool. But I definitely like, I know why Flavor Flav is like famous, because his personality is like, that's how he is all the time. He's like exuberant, he's loud and boisterous. So I think, yeah, that's a trait I think you find most in people that like outside of sports. Like they're there for like a reason. They're just kind of constantly on. I think that's the best thing too, is like whether you're on camera or not, like be yourself.
Right.
Because you get caught lacking, that's when you get canceled. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like,
Yeah. I'm not trying to get canceled.
exactly. It's like I noticed like people get canceled for doing like normal stuff you would just do with like your
Right.
friends. But like if you're that all the time, that's just what you are. Comedians. Like comedians say
Right.
like the wildest things, right? But they're never canceled because that's what people expect
what
from
they
them.
say.
So if you're kind of like just who you are, like off the cuff, off rip, then that's people are gonna accept you as that. You know, they're never
Right.
gonna like, cancel you for making a joke that like a sportscaster may say. And you're like, that's a normal ass joke. Sorry, I said a swear word there, but it's a normal joke I would say
Every
anytime.
day, like-
Yeah, exactly.
So,
That's for professional advice. And then like older broadcasters and stuff like that, I'd say they are a little bit more like sticklers, but because they came up at a different time.
yeah.
I don't know if it'll be the same by the time like you guys get there, but I will say that like they're almost, I want to use the word envious. I don't know what word to use, but I feel like they're kind of like, they're almost jealous that like we're getting these opportunities a little bit earlier in our lives than like they did, and they did like work harder for their opportunities, but like it's a digital platform, like you market yourself, you know?
Right.
You have to be dependent on somebody else to put you on. Like you can put yourself on. That's
Right.
why what you learn in this class is key. Utilize it all. Did you have a question? I apologize.
Would you guys talk about pro wrestling on your network?
So Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. That's his favorite sport, above hockey. He loves pro wrestling. Me, not so much. I did when I was younger. I was a big like John Cena guy. I did like a whole like monologue in like second grade and everything. But there's a market for it. I don't see why not. Like that's the thing, is like you like say like everybody in this room doesn't care about pro wrestling, but you do. There's other yous in the world, and the internet connects you to the world. So if you made a podcast about pro wrestling, who cares about who's in this room? Like somebody in the world is gonna find you on the internet, and they're gonna start like listening to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had people listening to me when I was in my basement from like France, because I would talk about Killian Hayes, who plays for the Pistons. He's from France. Like, that's, you know, it doesn't like if as long as you think pro wrestling's cool, do it. I don't let anything stop you. Make videos about it, give your takes about it, give your opinions about it, and learn the skill sets that Ryan Lynch uses every single day to edit and like I said, clip it up. I think start a pro wrestling podcast. I think that's a good idea. You could probably get Darren McCarty on that podcast, and being honest with you. Again, he's a big wrestler. Don't do that though. Whatever that.
That was our gift from earlier.
Sorry. You're so ungrateful.
Sorry. I mean, you guys talk UFC a decent amount.
Yeah, we do. That's the other thing too, is like, that's one thing I haven't been able to master yet, is like you fall into niches. It's like ours is like Detroit sports. So I love talking UFC. That's like what got me into here really, but like our audience is like here for like Lions, Pistons,
Yeah,
Tigers.
pretty much all our like I'd say 80% of our fan base is Lions, like 15% is Red Wings, and like the next 5% is Pistons and Tigers combined.
Right.
But yeah, so a lot of the stuff we do is based off trying to push out Lions content, which we have to do that in order to, you know, like grow our company as its own, instead of like what we want to do all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Lions are popping right now, so that's what we want to talk about. There's always something to talk about with them, even in the off season. Not as much draft talk going to be this year because we're actually decent for once. But like every other year I was here, it was like, all right, who we tanking for? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we'd make like, dude, I probably made like 100 videos on Jalen Carter, like going to the Lions. Or should we get C.J. Stroud if he falls to us? Like, is Jared Goff the guy? Like,
Yeah. Niche is a good thing too. Like, find your lane. It's the one annoying thing because like you have more interest in like one thing. Obviously, like you probably like more stuff than just pro wrestling. But like, if you built your YouTube video or YouTube channel off of like pro wrestling, and you put out a video about like making pancakes, like it's not gonna do anything. Like he said, we're all like more like Red Wings and Detroit Lions stuff like that. One time, the morning show had Tom Izzo on. He's the head coach of the Michigan State basketball team for forever. He's like a all-time great head coach. And he got like, 300 views? Like, it bombed. Because we never talk about Michigan State basketball. Like the people that tune into our channel, or like the people our channel or YouTube algorithm shows, are Lions fans, Tigers fans, or Red Wings. Well, I should say Pistons in there. No one cares about the Tigers. I'm sorry, Lynn. Did you have a question? I apologize.
Ever meet someone who's like, when they're in their like rookie year, since you guys have been through this for a while, where they're like really humble, and then once they rise to fame, they become like really like, ew, I don't like you guys anymore. You're not popular.
I met a couple guys because we're only like 3 years in, so no one that switched up at all. But I have had people where like they have like different people around them now. Like Kay Cunningham, he used to be like really accessible and like you could reach out to him. But now like if I ever wanted to get him on the show or anything like that, I have to go through like his publicist or like his agent, and it has to like they have to include like what type of deodorant is paying him to like be on the show, you know. So like that stuff changes. Like Malcolm Rodrigo plays for like the Lions. Like he was a 4th round pick, and like no one really cares about 4th round picks, but like I was kind of hype on him and reached out to him, had him on the show, and like now I can't get him on the show unless like his agent and like other people approve. So that part is kind of whack. But I think if you build enough of a relationship with people, you kind of bypass those things sometimes.
Women's sports.
Yeah, I was actually me and Spinny were arguing yesterday. I think Caitlin Clark is like her. Like is that a thing? I know people are him, but is it hers? Like she's sick. Like I think Caitlin Clark's pretty sweet, but honestly, like not unless like something's blowing up, like the SEO stuff. Like we were talking about like search engine optimization. That's where we try to like target our topics and stuff like that. So like, who was the girl that do you watch women's sports at all? Or who was the girl that's from LSU that she was like?
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese. That was huge for like women's sports, like because like, no one really does talk about it, but like everyone was talking about that, like little rivalry they made was awesome. So Caitlin Clark, anytime something like huge pops up, yeah. Is there anything we're missing? Like anyone we should be talking about? Like I'm sleeping on?
Well, I just thought,
Yeah.
do your views change by like watching women's sports to like professional sports?
Like our numbers, like our YouTube numbers. Yeah, they do. We don't really talk about too much like women's content unless like it's blowing up, and sometimes too again like our niche kind of forces us to talk about Detroit sports. So like this is like a female athlete blowing up in like Detroit. It's not really going to do too well for us unless like actually one person I got to meet is Clarissa Shields. You know who she is? She's a GWOAT. She's the greatest woman of all time. She's like a boxer. She went to MMA. I think she's awesome. We've had her on. I think that would be one that we've spoken about in the past, but. Unless it's something that's like kind of like currently trending, no. But I think you brought up like a good point though. Like we talk about like making podcasts and make it like niche, like where people like are looking for you, or they type in Caitlin Clark and there's a video like that could be you if you started a podcast on women's sports, you know, like someone typing Caitlin Clark, your video might pop up because of that, and I think that'd be a good niche to get into. Yeah, no problem. I think Caitlin Clark is.
Yeah, remember that thumbnail I made with you and Spencer on Angel and Kate, or she was doing like
yeah.
I forgot what she was doing, but I put Spencer and Easy's face on them for one of the thumbnails. That was one of the best ones.
This guy's a thumbnail god. I'm sorry. What was your name again? I apologize. Cole. Nice to meet you. What's your question?
So what was like favorite memory?
Being with Woodward.
That's a good question. What is yours? Do you have one?
My favorite memory from Woodward, I'd have to say being credentialed for the Lions throughout training camp. I got to film interviews of a lot of players, go to the media room, film Dan Campbell at 8 in the morning coming out to do his press conference. And like, I remember the first day I went there to film, dude, I was so nervous. I was like standing on the podium. There's like Fox News, CBS, like all these big networks are there with like huge cameras like this. And I'm sitting there with my Sony with my 70 to 200 lens. And I'm like, I got to make sure the audio's good because we like film the interviews and I send them over to our. We use Slack. I don't know if you guys use that. It's a program to like for works, I guess. So we use Slack and we like send over the clips in real time for our social people to post them so we can get them up right away. But I think just being around the Lions players and seeing them work and like handle their business like up close, that was probably like the best experience I've had so far.
For me, I get maybe it sounds corny, but like meeting Cade was cool. But at the same time, we were like giving books out to kids, and like the whole like experience was like kind of cool because like obviously one it was cool to meet Cade Cunningham, but like then to like help out like the little kids afterwards and Blake Corum too. Like again, like you meet a million people, you could talk like sports with them because that's their job. But like getting to see Cade and Blake Corum like in those environments, they're humanized at that point. We ended up playing like. Were you there? Was me and Joey? You were playing pig with them. Were you at that one?
With Blake Corum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing horse or whatever. And then with Cade Cunningham, it's like we were giving out the books as well as like cracking jokes at them and making them laugh. Again, I got to like, instead of seeing him as, oh, that's Cade Cunningham, I got to like make fun of him for being a Cowboys fan and kind of like, broke him being Cade Cunningham and made him like a human, So like that stuff. Like I think that's cool too. Is like this is like a cool moment. This would be a cool memory for me too, because like, dude, I was like in those chairs on those computers and like. To be able to come back and say like I made something of that's pretty sweet. We were talking about it last night actually too.
Yeah,
it's just kind of
it is kind of weird. Like I would always sit in this back row. I mean, the studio was a little different. I know it probably sounds corny because like, we're older, like reminiscing on old times. But like I coach high school baseball as well at Birmingham Groves. But like all the seniors every year, they just talk about how it flies by all the time. And like looking back at like high school, dude. Like I just turned 24. Like that was like 7 years ago. Like that's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And like that's where I got my start. Even like almost all the fundamentals, like I said earlier, came from this class. Like that's not even a joke. I remember like all the man on the street stuff. Filming sit down interviews were my favorite thing. You gotta line the guy up on the. You guys know the rule of thirds, where you guys put his eyes on the level. I'm sure you guys talk about that all the time. But like I still use that every time I film. Like if you go rewatch my demo reel, I try to like stay consistent with that all the time, and like that's just stuff I picked up in this class. Yeah, and like the shortcuts, like I said, like all that. I use Premiere Pro now. Sorry, the Final Cut, but I don't know. I made the transition because I use Photoshop all the time, so I just stuck with Adobe products. But yeah, it's pretty seamless. But learning just how to maneuver your workflow better and like get stuff done quickly, because like everything we do is time based. I'll have people text me during their live show like, "Oh crap, we forgot to get a lower third for like this guest we're having on," and I'll be in the middle of something. I got to stop what I'm doing and make a lower third because I only have like 5 minutes to do it. Or like when I make videos for sponsors and stuff, like the turnaround's got to be like, I got to film the video, go out and film it, and that video's got to be out in like 2 days because they're paying for it to run on our network. So they're expecting that video to be done. So a lot of our stuff is time-based, and you kind of get in a flow, in a rhythm of how you complete stuff at the quickest time.
Another question?
Yeah, and when you guys were like in this class and you knew you wanted to do something similar to what you're doing now, and you were like starting it up, like how hard was it, and like what did you have to do to start it up, and what advice would you give to anybody else who would want to do a similar gig to what you guys are doing?
Just like I was telling Keon, like just start. Keenan, apologize.
It's cool. You can just call me KJ.
He's got the keys. I just call KJ. No, the biggest advice, honestly, is just start. And like, again, it's not going to be the prettiest like the first time out, but like you got to like learn from those experiences. And like I said, go back to the people that are in like the lane that you want to be in. Like whoever you think is like the sweetest, that you're like that you watch yourself. Like that's the content you're consuming. Look at the things they're doing because obviously it's working, right? Like you're watching. So I that's the biggest thing is just to start. Like literally is the biggest thing is to start.
Yeah, like for me, like in high school, like towards my senior year, I started really like getting a passion for filming and doing this kind of stuff. I always liked being behind the camera rather than on the camera. This is like the first time I actually went on his show one time to talk about Austin Meadows, but that flopped.
Yeah,
anyways, this is like one of the only times I've been on camera, but normally I like being the one behind the camera, filming, getting cool slow-mo shots. And I mean, just trial and error for everything, dude. Like when I was learning Photoshop even, Like I probably have like 100 projects that are like horrible, and like I'll make them. I'll spend like 2 days working on this design, and like by the time I'm done, I'm like, wow, this is horrible, and I'll just delete the whole thing. Like I mean, that's probably not the best thing to do.
I was say, yeah, no,
you should
yeah.
archive it, but I just get like, I don't know, I get like mad at myself when I don't produce something that I know I can. But like just trying out, looking up YouTube videos, learning how to do stuff. Like a lot of the Photoshop stuff specifically, I was self-taught because I learned it when I was like 14. I would just watch videos all the time of like how to highlight and shadow a player, and then you just like eventually learn that, and then you start utilizing that, and then you learn something else, and you just keep building on top of what you already know. And it's the same thing with video, like learning all the rules, the fundamentals of it, like it all stays the same no matter how old you get. Like even 7 years ago, I'm doing the same exact stuff. I just have a nicer camera, and I know a little bit, I know more what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you just got to start eventually. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys go to the gym. I've been trying to go to the gym more, but like, you just got to eventually get up and go and do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a motivational speaker, but there's really nothing else to it.
Yeah, I think a cool thing too, that like I guess like because everyone that's the easy one, just start. But like that's so true. Like you literally just gotta start. But another thing too is allow your personality to show like in your editing. You know, like if you have a goofier side, like myself, I like to make fun of like everything. Like I'll show it. You know, and I think that's like differentiated myself from like other people in the lane. You know, where somebody else is up there. Sir, do you have a question?
I do, actually. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of time management in your job?
It could be huge. And actually, I'll probably go to you first in that one because you're doing that more than myself.
A little bit earlier, like when I was at Lions stuff. So I would show up at like 7:30, set up my camera. Dan Campbell, like when you're in those professional environments, it's all so structured, like down to the exact millisecond. It's actually like insane. So like Dan Campbell will literally walk through the door at 8 a.m. exactly. He walks up to the mic. And like he doesn't even wait 1 second. He just starts going. So like if you're not ready, like you have to make sure you're good to go. Like your audio's good, you're recording, like everything's good. And then he talks for 10 minutes. And right after that's done, I immediately take the SD card out of my camera, put it in my computer, and I'm sitting in the media room. And like within 10 minutes, I've probably sent like 3 or 4 clips over to our social team to get up on Twitter. Because if you guys, especially in this network, if we're not the first to address something, normally that video is not going to do as well, or the numbers aren't going to do as good because like people, it's going to get beat down after like a day. Like if we bring up something, I don't know.
JMO ice cream.
Yeah, like if we just brought up the JMO ice cream, him and with the McFlurry, if we brought that up today, it'd make no sense because like that was like 2 weeks ago. So like you got to jump on every opportunity you get, and even with our like live shows, like when we post our daily YouTube videos on our main, we have 2 YouTube channels. On our main one, we post our YouTube videos 15 minutes after the show ends. So during the show, I have to cut up our YouTube video, and I only have like a 30-minute time frame to get that video up, get a thumbnail made, and then I send it to this kid Noah I work with. He's the one that titles them all and does that. But yeah, I mean that's like one of the most important things in this industry is having a deadline. Like I said earlier, with all the sponsors I work with, like people are paying money. Like if you're not giving them that's how it is when you get older. Like if you're not giving them what they want by a certain deadline, like stuff's not going to go right. You know what I mean? So like I filmed this promotion video for Fairway Packing Company. They're like a steak company that provides steaks to like casinos and like fancy hotels. And I filmed that 2 nights ago, and like I got to have this video done by Friday. And I got like 200 video clips I still got to go through. So like when I get into work tomorrow, I got to do all my daily stuff, like my thumbnails. I gotta start cooking up this video. So, yeah.
Yeah, timing is like more crucial on him. For myself, I'd say like a couple of events I got to cover, like talk about like networking and like being early was like pivotal and like huge for me. Like I covered like one of Jake Paul's like first like boxing events, and like because I was like the first one there because I was so nervous about like being punctual, I got to meet Jake Paul and his security, and I got to interview Tommy Fury and like have like these one-on-one opportunities that I normally wouldn't get because I'm a small like media company versus just being there early. And another thing too about like being there late, same situation. I got to interview like I love like MMA and like all that kind of stuff. So like a couple like Michael Bisping, he was like hanging around, and I got to ask him a couple questions, and I just posted like that short clip, and like it blew up on my YouTube channel, or even have give like a tagline for my YouTube channel, you know, and for like the Woodward Sports one. So I think being early and even staying late sometimes at like those events, if you're doing like that kind of stuff, I think definitely beneficial for like networking and just showing your face and having those people that get used to seeing you around, you know, because then next time, you know, like you get that interview, that one-on-one maybe.
And on top, like when I was filming my high school football videos when I first got to Woodward, a big thing that the students loved, when I filmed that Dakota and Chippewa game, I put up an Instagram video, like a 1-minute recap, and like it totally blew up because like I posted it probably like 5 hours after the game ended, and like every kid on the team put it on their story. Every single student was posting it. They're like, "Oh, this is sick!" Like people were following me, and like it was pretty cool. But just the fact getting it out right away so people can enjoy it is very important in this field.
That's huge.
I'm going to go back. Speaking of time management, teaching has a lot of time management. We have these things called bells, and unfortunately, our time has almost come to an end. So I am going to wrap it up, say thank you for coming here today and for being a big part of this, and let you guys sign off and say goodbye to Block A. And we're going to see you guys again in another few minutes because we got another class coming, and that's how time management works in my world. But thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate you.
It's funny, that's the time thing. We took forever answering it. All right, thank you. KJ, you want to sign us off?
Thank y'all so much for watching. They'll be back with another video. I'll catch y'all tomorrow.